the chat at the same. Oh. I saw that.
Good morning, ladies
the
and
cyber bus
gentlemen.
is coming.
The cyber bus, the cyber short bus, apparently. Welcome to.
So, which
End
one of us
Legend.
is driving the short bus?
Well, that
we take
I'm
turns?
definitely in the back. I'm
I
definitely
don't know
not
about that.
driving.
I don't know
Apparently Seb's wiener is. So that'll be
What?
a whole thing to see.
What?
I don't know what he was trying to pantomime there, but okay. Anyways, ladies
Yeah.
and gentlemen, welcome. Thank you for joining us. I'm Matt, here as always with Mike and Sebastian. Boys, what's going on? How's everybody doing today?
Hello. I'm good. I'm good. How are you? You know what? Looking at my picture with a beard and long hair, I kind of feel like growing hair long again.
At least you have that opportunity to do it. I say do it.
Yeah. I'm
If
sorry,
you can
Mike.
do it, do it.
I don't feel it's my place to tell you to get a haircut. That's for sure.
I literally just got a haircut yesterday too.
I know my daughter has been telling me to grow a skullet, and I'm like, no.
Oh, please.
No.
Please.
No. God, come on, man. I have some. I
Mike
have a
is
little
going
bit
to
of
wear
grow
the
that
next
luscious
6 months,
blonde
and then
skullet, and I will.
And then I'll just
pay for
unleash
your
it on the
cruise.
world.
yeah, we'll have the debut of the skullet in 6
Oh my
months
God.
time.
She wants me to grow like a giant beard and a skullet, and I'm like, oh my God, I'll be like a homeless Santa or something. I don't know.
When's the last time you had a beard?
I don't know. Like a full beard?
Yeah.
It's been a while. I hate them. I don't like the itch, and I can't get past the itchy phase. So it's just
Yeah. Well, you can
once
grow a really nice full beard though.
I can like
In
I've had
4.5 hours.
Well, I shaved 10 minutes ago, so that's sort of.
I have it here and here, and then everywhere else, like on the sides, it's all spotty
thinner?
and patchy.
Yeah, me too.
and
It's
it
all
looks
white.
terrible.
It's all white, so it's.
Yeah, that's
see?
the other issue.
Yeah.
Whenever
Yeah,
I try to
I
grow a
mean-
beard, I'm like, there's a lot of white in there. I'm gonna shave that off immediately.
Well, I just like it's a mental game, right? Because I grow my beard and then I look like I'm 60, and I don't want to look like I'm 60.
yeah.
So I'll be there. I'll be there eventually, but I don't want to be there now. I feel like I'm there, but I don't want to be there now.
I had an interesting question the other day at work, which kind of relates to this. I assume, well, I know Matt does, and I assume you somehow, at some level, manscape your
Sure,
stuff.
absolutely.
Have you ever nicked it?
Oh God, yeah.
Oh yeah, if you
Sorry,
haven't,
so
if you haven't nicked it, you're not doing it right. Come on.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
you're
and
like,
you
oh
know
God,
what?
that's gonna sting.
If Manscaped, as a company that provides some amazing razors, wants to sponsor us, I will gladly try their product.
Apparently
I've
it's
actually
really good.
wanted to try it before. It's because it's got skin safe technology, and you're not gonna,
Is it really
gash
100% skin safe though? Like, come on.
I don't know. I haven't tried it. A former buddy of mine had one. He said it was just the greatest thing. So I'm interested in trying it.
They're actually not that badly priced. Like if you get the like the package deal where it comes with like all the all the a
No,
whole
you said
bunch of stuff,
package.
it's package accessory.
I couldn't help
It's
myself.
actually quite. I was actually thinking about ordering one myself, but
Yeah,
I have a
should.
Philips one that I use, which isn't meant for the nether regions. It's meant for facial hair, but
Yeah. And that's what
Sometimes
gets you
you-
like,
yeah. Sometimes you fly a little too close to the sun. You know what I mean?
yeah. And
Yeah, that's right,
it's-
Icarus.
It is one of those things. I mean, I first heard about it because they advertise on a lot of wrestling podcasts because dudes, yeah, and the way they compare it on the wrestling podcast, Conrad Thompson specifically in his shows, it's they liken it to when a wrestler sort of cuts his forehead and it's maximum blood for a minimum wound, and that's downstairs. That happens too. You're just like shit. Especially if you catch yourself in the shower.
Yeah. They're like, well,
It's a hard area to shave. It's
easy.
not like it's. And everybody's is different, but like it is not
It's not easy.
easy. There's contours and curves, and then there's other factors like how cold is the room. Like
Well, we're also not or teenage or 20, so our flexibility and limberness are a little bit in question at this age. So it's kind of not
DDPY, bro.
Yeah.
DDPY.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
you know, it is what
yeah.
it is. Mike, what have you been up to
so-
this week?
Cooper, or me and Cooper, the boy, we've been home, just the two of us, since Thursday. Because
The ladies
Jolene
out.
is in Victoria with her band, her school band, on a band trip,
Nice.
and the missus is a chaperone, lucky her. And but yesterday,
Well, she's got your credit card, so it's fine.
doesn't matter. It's
Just
all good.
kidding.
It's all good. But yesterday, so they're playing all over Victoria. Like, they're playing with the Air Force band. They play the legislature. They I don't know. I can't remember what they're doing today. They're doing all sorts of fun stuff. But she got to sit first chair with the Air Force Orchestra
Nice.
cool.
and play with all the first chair trumpeters. They were all like people our age. And
Cool.
there's a quick video I saw. She sounded amazing. So it's, proud papa. I don't know. I just wish she'd practice a little more, because I don't need to practice, Dad, because I know how to play it. No, you need to practice all the time, kid, because you look at it once, you got it. You could be like
So much better.
Well, yeah, she's
Yeah,
already
like-
good, and she doesn't even
Yeah.
try. And it's like, God, if you put the effort in, you'd be amazing. But
Michael
know-
Jordan practice, damn it.
that's what I tell her. I say 10,000 hours. You'll master it in 10,000 hours. Any famous musician will tell you they put in at least 10,000, right?
I have a question for both of you, because you're both parents of kids, and fathers.
Baja.
So fathers or parents generally want to live vicariously through their children, right? We kind of guide them in what we feel like we like as adults, but at some point your kid shifts to something that you probably weren't expecting them to be good at, or a different way of life. At what point do you realize, like, maybe this is something we should nurture? Like, at what point did you guys realize, your kids were different than you? Because I'm
Matt, you wanna go
substantially
first?
different from my father, and so-
Yeah, right.
Well, I think the big thing around here was, Jordan doesn't practice at home for his instruments, and I think he plays 6. It's
Jesus.
strictly a school thing for him.
Mhm.
and you've never played. an
He's
instrument,
at
have
a
you?
point where it would be cool if he practiced at the house when it first started, and 6th grade, when they were just starting out. It was a bit brutal. And good morning, Taryn. How's it going? Thanks for stopping by all the way out in Alberta. And for us, it was cooking. Hunter really, really is a good cook, and he kind of took over dinner.
Wow. Okay.
And yeah,
And Matt's
I mean-
experience with cooking is ramen noodles, but
no,
just kidding.
I'm better than that. I mean,
Just kidding.
I was a single father for many, many
Yeah,
years.
yeah, you have to be, man.
Yeah.
You gotta.
And it was, and I don't mean single father like a lot of guys are single fathers, where it's like every other weekend. I had them.
You were a full-time dad.
You don't have a
Um,
choice. You got to learn.
Yeah,
Immediately, right?
I
So-
learned I learned that cooking is an art and baking is a science. So fuck
Yes.
around a little bit and find out.
That's actually
But
an
yeah,
interesting
Hunter kind of took
analogy.
over the dinner, and Jordan has some stuff that he likes to do. So it's and yeah, Hunter cooks. Not only that, Taryn, Hunter, in her 2 years of being employed, has had one job. She is in line to actually be the assistant kitchen manager at the pub she works at in the kitchen. So
Very cool.
Good
I
for
mean,
her.
that's pretty cool. The manager has flat out said, this person's, on his way out at some point in the next year. And I'm not training you to take their job. I'm training you to take my job so I can retire. And she's thinking culinary school and
Do it.
all this stuff, to the point where, to the point where we have some friends, kids that work in high-end restaurants, has said, don't let her pay for culinary school yet. Just, we might be able to work out something where she learns on the job, and that's high-end downtown stuff. So I think it was really when they take the reins for us. I mean, I would imagine with music, if they are practicing a lot on their own, and Taryn and Hunter collab. Yeah. Taryn's giving with a Hunter dessert. That'd be pretty rad. So yeah, that was it for us. It's like she just sort of took the reins and ran with it. Mike, what's I mean, your kids are a little more musical than Jordan's pretty musical, but he doesn't practice here. So
like Cooper has the gift too, but he couldn't have cared less. Like he does not care. Like he took band in grades. I don't know. He's because when my kids' elementary school, they started band in grade 4. Like they started early. So Jolene's already been playing, and she's in grade 7 now. So do the math. She's been playing for a while with the one instrument. She's only really ever played the trumpet. And but when you say like you realize your kids are not different, it's the wrong word, but like we realized early both
they're
our
not
kids
walking down the same path that you did.
No,
you
absolutely
realized
not.
they're taking a different path.
Yeah, and even when Joe was little, like we're talking, pre-kindergarten or even kindergarten, even all the teachers would point out like she's an absolute walking her own path, and that's it. She's not following anybody else. She is,
I can totally see that with her.
Right? And she's unapologetic about it. She is her teachers always call her. She's just Jolene. She's nothing else but a strong-willed individual, a little pig-headed sometimes, like we all can be.
Yeah, her desire as a child to always be carried around,
right,
is unfathomable.
Well, wait till you see her again, dude. You'll be doing it again. You hope you're back strong because
at this age,
a little bit bigger than last time you did it.
Yeah, and for those that you may be a little confused, Jolene's favorite person walking God's green earth is Sebastian.
Wow.
Yep.
She's a beautiful, beautiful child.
So not everybody's seeing a whole lot of difference there. I mean, maybe
I also used to carry Mike around in my arse. Just kidding.
Yeah. Well, hey, Seb would piggyback me.
That. It was
everywhere we go. No, it's funny because it's so much like me. It's a little, it puts not like a divide in the house a bit, but it really frustrates the wife when she's trying to, impart wisdom on her. And she's just like, stop talking. Please stop. And then Sherry gets, and I feel bad for her because she doesn't understand, and I totally get it. So I've kind of, with some of the stuff, like with schoolwork in particular, she's got my version of I don't give a flying about school. And so I've been having to talk with her and hold her accountable, which I didn't care about school at all when I was, especially in grade 7, grade 8. Whatever, like school was just, I don't know, it was a waste, whatever.
But I think we're all on the same page there.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to be the good dad and say, you have to care about it while you're doing it here. When you're 46, is what you're doing now going to matter? No, but you need to play the game the teachers want you to play in order to move on to the next level, whether you like it or not. Right.
Yeah. You also learn discipline, and like the material that you're learning in school may not serve you in 10, 15 years.
No.
But I guess your techniques of how you go about things, studying and whatnot, that will serve you.
Yes.
For the most part. So
yeah,
it teaches discipline. Like
yes.
Learning how to learn.
Well, exactly
what I'm
learning how to learn.
Yeah.
And with my other child, he's very academic. He's I'm not saying she's really bright, but she doesn't apply herself. Again, life lessons in the house of Mike.
Yeah,
in the head of Mike, right?
Now, she's so like her father.
I want to put a pin in this for just a quick second. Have you found yourself going, take it from me, don't walk down this path? I already been here.
We've had a conversation. Yeah. Well, I had a conversation with her because she
you're turning into your parents.
Well, she was a little. Well, yeah, she was a little bit behind in like English or whatever. So I was talking to her and why. She's like, well, I don't care and blah blah. So I said, look, I'm going to tell you a story. So I told her my story of school and how I struggled and how I really had to apply myself in the last couple of years to get my grades up so I could, do something with it, which I never did. And I said, if you don't, you're going to end up. And I'm not slagging my job. I'm definitely not. But I walked into the job. There was no interview. I had a guy move in, say, hey, do you want a job? Okay. I lucked out, right? But a lot of people don't get that luxury to have, like, it's a good job. it's supporting our family. So my point to her was, go to school, do something you like. I don't like going to work every day doing what I do. I want you to find a career that you are passionate about, that you want to get up and go to work and be the best person you can. And that's why you have to do all these little projects through grade 7, 8, all the way to 12 and university after that. And I think she, the wheel started spinning and she's like, oh, she gets it. And now she's getting all of her stuff. She's doing it very well. She's getting it done on time. And it's, but you said I'm turning into my parent. I am, basically, because
yeah.
But it's funny when I say that, because my dad told me when I was her age, you get one job, you stick with that job, and you stay there forever.
It's a different mentality, right?
Right.
So the shift here, when we were children, at least my parents and a lot of people's parents wanted safety and comfort for their children, right? But you land a job that you can have a career in, and you'll be set for the rest of your life. You'll have a good pension, blah blah blah. But that's not in line with a lot of people's callings in life, right? And so there's a big difference when someone has a career and a calling. A calling is something that you will basically consume about, and it never feels like work. And I would say under 1% of the population of the planet actually has in line with a calling and their career at the same time. But yeah, I was in that situation too, where it's like I had to go to college after school immediately, because that's what you do. I'm like, well, I want to explore life. I don't know what I want to do, right? And so it was. I'm not going to say it was a waste of time to go to college after work, but I think
you were spinning your gears though. You were spinning your wheels. You weren't into it. Like I remember that you
Not
were,
until I went
and
to
it wasn't.
school,
It
right?
was
So,
really, really common.
yeah.
Like we saw it with a bunch of people we would see on a daily basis. I didn't, because through the work life that I had, I saw a bunch of people that are like, yeah, I did 4 years in college and I am working for minimum wage in a fucking record store with a massive student loan. And that got to me. I'm like, I don't want to be paying this back until I figured out what I want to do. Never did. I ended up, I tried a couple of things. But I just ended up in a work to live job, which a lot of people are. To Seb's point, my mom had a lot of work to live jobs. She tried a lot of stuff. She was really good at retail. She was an office manager. She did the Mary Kay thing for a while. A lot of mall jobs, a lot of high-end management jobs. And it wasn't until she was in her, well, let's just say the grandchildren were imminent, if not already arrived. I'm not going to out her like that because she'll kill me. But she found a calling. And is now
happy is she in life,
right? And she is day. Well, I mean, she's equally stressed out, but it doesn't feel like work. She's now got so I have a work to live job. She has a live to work job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And very few people get that opportunity to have a live to work job. And because it's not super common. And I want to go back to the school thing. I had kids that were fairly strong-willed.
Runs in the family.
And it was like, I don't like this person at school. I don't like, this group of friends are just stressing me out. They're being assholes. I don't like when they do this, or this teacher's being an asshole. I said, look, here's what this part of school teaches you. You are going to have a bunch of jobs in your life. You're going to have many, many days where you go to work. You are going to have an asshole boss sooner or later. And that's what the dick teacher is teaching you to deal with. And you're going to have coworkers that just drive you fucking batshit crazy. And that's what dealing with these people, your peers at school that you don't necessarily like to get along with, but are now stuck in a group project with. Sometimes it's not what you're learning off the book. It's what you're learning in the dynamics of having to deal with people you wouldn't choose to deal with on your free time. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, does this make sense? Apparently Robert's down with that. But that's honestly, sometimes that's just what it is. There's all sorts of classes that you don't fucking use, that 90% of us will never fucking use. It is sourcing. And it's just, you're learning to deal with the fact that you may not want to have to, do certain aspects of your job, but it has to be done because you are addicted to food and shelter.
Well, that's a necessity of life.
Right, yeah.
Has there ever been a teacher? Okay, so I think the most important thing for teacher professor skills in teaching is to be able to connect to the students. I can relate several times in my life where I've really connected with a prof or a teacher,
Mhm.
and the class was easy. It was
Mhm.
literally easy because I was excited to go to class. I was excited to pay attention. And I
Mhm.
think that's one thing. I mean, we all remember a teacher that we just did not vibe with in high school. I mean, I can name several off the top of
Sure.
my
Mhm.
head, which I
Yeah.
won't, but
No.
where you just go into class and there's no stimulation whatsoever to learn.
Mhm.
You just
Yep.
kind of show up, and then they tell you what page to open up to, you read, they stay silent, they ask questions, but my music history teacher in college would have a piano in the class, and whenever he would do examples, he would actually play on the piano and write out notations, and he was just invested in the whole curriculum of the class. He wanted everyone to be connected and invested in it, and I got the highest marks I've ever gotten in a college class just with this one teacher, right? So I think that's probably the most important part as a teacher is, you get this is what you have to teach in your class, but it's more important to be able to connect to the kids and
Mhm.
figure out what works for each of the
Mhm.
children in the class, I guess is what I'm
I mean,
trying to say.
I don't think I connected with a teacher in school very much,
Yeah, it's
and
also
that's
hard when
probably
you're a
my fault
teenager
because I
too.
was for different reasons, I was
Yeah.
tuned out, and I've
Is that
done the
a
work with professionals to figure out why, because my kids going through school and my parenting over it was very much don't do what I did.
yeah.
Um, However, out in the workforce, I've connected with mentors that taught me a bunch of stuff, and it's really led to some good opportunities. Unfortunately, a couple of them disappeared because the industry died. So that kind of sucked. But I learned how to fix lasers and rotating lights and film projectors, and I learned how to do data and security camera stuff and really get inside of computer systems and how to adjust that. And now I'm doing the same with chemicals. So in
But you
school,
learn skills there that you can apply to your job now, for
mhm,
sure. Right? So
I mean, I've also learned to choose jobs where the boss isn't a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
That's important. Yeah, we've
So
all
that,
worked a job where we're just like, this boss is horrendous.
yeah, I mean, I can't say anything for the coworkers. On the whole,
Yeah.
I learned to just when to. It's like, yeah, no, this is where our line is right here. Um, but I get along with everybody at this point. There's very few coworkers these days or in the last 10 years that I can't deal with. But
Yeah.
yeah, I dig what you're putting down there. Any thoughts on this, Mike? As we've sort of pulled this topic out of nowhere.
Well, I sort of touched on my school. If there were teachers that I really sort of, connected with, and then there's other ones you don't. But
Mhm.
Sep's totally right. When there's a teacher that you're on the same wavelength as, you're excited to go to that class. You're excited. Like I have
Mhm.
the same issue you guys do. Paying attention sometimes is extremely
Yeah.
difficult,
I
especially
have
if
to
I'm
make
not
the
interested.
choice.
I honestly will
Yeah.
just tune out the world. If I don't care, I'm out. Like that's just
Sorry, what were you saying? I tuned.
exactly. And there were teachers, and the marks, the grades reflected that. And it's just like, oh wow, I
Mhm.
can be good at this stuff, but I maybe for better or for worse, I choose not to care about 95% of it.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I mean,
yeah,
I
I
do
had a
think
very easy class that I failed twice because I didn't give a shit and didn't hand anything in. It's like, how did you fail art twice? I'm like, didn't hand anything in.
right. It doesn't help. It doesn't
Like,
help, right?
I mean, every other class I'm doodling on the back of my notebooks and drawing shit and creating superheroes. And no, couldn't bother to fucking translate that.
I think
So,
more attention to now is paid to, and there's research studies being done, which I think never used to be, on about how kids learn and the deficiencies of how they don't learn. Like a lot of
Mhm.
attention is put into that vein, whereas before you just will go to class, you're like, pay attention. But nobody actually tried, at least from what I'm aware of, nobody really explored why kids aren't learning or kids aren't paying attention. Like there's a whole bunch of different factors, I guess, right? So, but
Yeah.
Mike's right. Like we both share a common problem in we have to very much choose to active listen, Mike and I.
Mhm.
Like we have a, you know, we have to make that choice to focus on something. We just don't listen because we just wander and our minds
It's
wander.
not just you two. I mean,
Yeah.
it's the three of us, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But I mean, when you choose, when you enjoy it, it's a deep dive. This is
It's an easy
why
one.
you guys are doing your music podcast. This
Yeah.
is why I do the wrestling podcast. This is why I'm starting the comic book podcast. You know, there's all sorts of stuff. When you choose, when
Is that a
and
spoiler?
sometimes it's
Matt
not even
started.
choosing. Sometimes it just hits that chord, right? You're
Yeah.
just
Yep.
like,
Ah,
okay, I'm here now.
use the term.
You know, I think video games are a prime example. Like some games you just don't connect with. Like, you know, I know my favorite video game of all time, Red Dead Redemption 2. I got a buddy that can't stand it because, you know, he's got his reasons. And, you know, it's
Actually, you make a very interesting point, Matt, and I think what a lot of the missed things is the level of energy that's spiked when you're playing video games today is
Mhm.
at such a premium that kids these days play so many video games and they're elevated in their energy level when they're playing it, that when they come off the video game and do something normal that has a normal energy
Mhm.
level, they're bored.
Yes.
Like it's just boring, whereas like we as kids, we go out and kick the can for an hour on the streets and it was fun because
Mhm.
our level of excitement, like our level to attain excitement the bar was a lot lower than it is today. When you're playing Call of Duty for 8 hours a day and you're just like dialed in like this the whole time, it's
Yeah.
you can't reach the same serotonin or dopamine levels that you can when you're playing a video game. I don't
Yeah.
know
No,
which is
I
absolutely.
which
mean,
I can't remember, but
you
yeah.
you guys have seen the property I'm on. Big acreage, well, not big, but decent sized acreage. When we first moved in, we had cattle, but you, as a kid, you wouldn't have kept me out of that creek that runs through the property. We kept the kids out of it because we didn't want them ending up between the house or the cattle between them and the house because they're not small, but the children were.
Yeah.
However, I'd have gone, yeah, I'm just gonna go outside and play catch, and I'd have found my way to that goddamn creek. I'd have figured it out.
Yep.
And it's just, I don't know. It just seems like it's easier to do that, and the video games today are way less frustrating. Way less
Well,
frustrating.
you've never played Bloodborne or Dark Souls or or Elden
Probably
Ring.
not, but I mean, at the same time, is it more frustrating than the water level of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on
Yeah, that was
NES?
a bad one.
Yeah,
That was a
right.
bad one.
Yes, we've fallen down a rabbit hole here.
Yeah.
We got some interesting stuff. One more comment here from Sarah. If you spend your life with the assumption that everything will teach you something and nothing will be a waste, you will be happier. Of course, I have regrets and laments, what ifs in my life, but I also see great things on the horizon. It would not be possible. All the things I've done that felt dead end at the time. Looking at you, retail stores. And honestly, yeah,
You got to
retail
look at
fucking
things.
sucks.
You got to look at things instead of being a curse as an opportunity of learning or an opportunity of getting something out of it, right?
Mhm.
I mean, it's just you got to walk into every day going, "I'm going to learn something today," and I think your life will be not you, Mike, or you, Matt, just you in the global
Mhm.
world.
Mhm.
Will
The
be
global
better.
you.
The global you, yes. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's take a couple of minutes here. We're going to shift gears a little bit to the original long form topic we were going to do, because 30 years and a day ago, we lost who has become a legend. Died at 27 years old on April 5th, 1994. Nirvana's Kurt Cobain. Guys.
And the controversy that still surrounds that death.
Oh, yes. Well, I mean, dig into that, Seb.
Well, I mean, let's just say it outright. A lot of people think he was murdered and he didn't actually commit suicide. I don't know if I believe that anymore. I think he has been documented to have severe problems with
Mhm.
where he was, and he was
Mhm.
very depressed. He was a heroin addict. He went into rehab. I think it was a month before he committed suicide.
Yep.
Mhm.
So, you know, you have to wonder if Nirvana wasn't labeled as the band to carry us into the grunge era, if they were like a secondary band and another band took the forefront, like Pearl Jam, for example, if he would still be around, because he was labeled as the alternative icon to like lead a generation into a new music genre, basically. And I don't know, he's deeply troubled. Would you agree? They put him, I think when I was looking through Kurt Cobain stuff, I think he was number 22 on, I can't remember what website labeled this is, but
Mhm.
number 22 of the greatest top 100 songwriters of all time. Would you guys agree that he's up there or no?
I
No.
it's such a small body of work comparatively.
It's 3
He's
albums.
he's not bad. He was good. He was clearly really good at it. I don't know
Yeah.
with such a small sampling, because I mean, honestly, he died in 94, Nirvana hit in 91.
Yep.
It's 3 albums. They wrote 3
He-
albums.
Yeah,
Really.
and and there's the live album, and there's the we went back and found the unrecorded shit and whatever, but it's, I mean, I read Dave Grohl's book, The Storyteller, and he's talking about it. It just right place, right time, and I was reminded in there that Kurt went out and flat out said, "We're here to be the biggest band in the fucking world."
Mm-hmm.
And it's very much a monkey's paw situation where he got what he wanted and he figured out real quick, I don't want this.
Yeah.
Well,
And
there's no
having drug problems on top of that too,
Mhm.
Yeah.
going into it, and then all of a sudden you have the team of, hey, what do you need, Kurt? Oh,
Yeah.
you want more heroin? Sure. Just
Not a
keep
problem.
not a problem. We'll keep you topped up.
Get him whatever he needs so he can write that next song.
Like,
And,
I think
you
if
know,
the
that-
heroin didn't enter his life, obviously he'd probably still be alive, but I think it would have enhanced his songwriting even more, and he would have, like, imagine if he wasn't cracked out and what he would have put out after In Utero.
Mhm.
You know, like the direction they were kind of going, that sort of acoustic-y vibe.
I mean, I think we can look at
Yeah.
a guy like Chris Cornell that had his own issues, came through the same time period, phenomenal songwriter, phenomenal singer. He sort of kicked out of a few problems, but obviously still had a few and still suffered from, depression and whatever else got him. But I remember his first solo album after Soundgarden broke up. It was really melancholy, and a coworker of mine at the time, and this is kind of harsh, but said, yeah, it's the I gave up heroin and my life fucking sucks now album, which I thought was harsh.
Yeah, it's a
But
little
I could
hard.
see what he was trying to say there. And I wonder if Kurt would have followed a similar path. I don't know if Nirvana would have survived. We definitely would have, without Nirvana going the way it went, including Kurt's death, we wouldn't have gotten Foo Fighters.
Well, we
They-
just got a different version of the Foo Fighters, right? We would have gotten an album every 6-7 years of Dave Grohl solo stuff.
Do you think they'd still be together as a band, Nirvana, or do you think they would have inevitably broken up if Kurt Cobain did?
No, I think they would have been done
Unalive
within
himself.
2 years of Kurt's death. I think it would have been too much for them. I mean, we saw a lot of bands we thought would last forever back in the day. The Pumpkins broke up. Rage Against the Machine broke up. Soundgarden broke up. Really, Pearl Jam's the only one that sort of survived that.
Yep.
So I don't think Nirvana would have gone too much longer than a couple of years. But if Kurt was still alive, we'd probably be paying $600 for a nosebleed seat for the every 5 years Nirvana nostalgia tour.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think just that right mix of stuff gave Dave Grohl the right fuel, the right mindset to write the first Foo Fighters album and do it the way he did. And with that, if that album hadn't have gone the way it does, Dave might just be a session drummer. I mean, phenomenal drummer, but he just would have, going out and doing, okay, well, I'm sitting in on this band, or, you know, the Chili Peppers need a drummer now, so I'm going to sit in on here for a couple years or whatever else. But it's
What is it with being 27 years old? Have you guys heard
Right?
of the 27
It's the
Club?
27 Club. It's a very exclusive club.
It's so some of the people that pass at the age of 27: Jimi Hendrix, Kurt
Mhm.
Cobain, Janis Joplin, Jim Morrison, you know, just to name a
Amy
few.
Winehouse.
Amy Winehouse, correct. Yeah.
I
so-
believe the Big Bopper, Richie Valens. I don't know if they were 27. Those guys in the plane crash, they might have been 27 as well.
it's just I don't understand why it's 27. Like it's such a there's got to be some kind of connection that someone has deep dived into why 27 is a year you people die, but when you're a great artist. But hey man, like Kurt Cobain did more in the world up to the age of 27 than most people will do in their entire lifetimes of living 80, 90 years
God,
old,
yeah.
right? So
And it wasn't
Yeah.
even 27. Like, he crammed it all into, like, let's assume that he was writing songs before then, but like 6 years.
but let
So-
me ask you this.
There-
Were you guys shocked
no,
that it happened?
no, because
Just
there was
based
all
on
the
his
stuff in the news.
tone?
Yeah, the stuff in the
Yeah.
news of his outbursts and drug use and canceling concerts and hospital visits, rehab visits. You just felt it coming,
Yeah.
whether it
Yeah,
was
you
an
know what, I'm
overdose
gonna-
or he did it himself, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna amend that. I was surprised at the method.
It
I
I just
pretty
thought he'd be
brutal.
found of like
Yeah.
heroin out and that's it.
You know, like
Yeah.
you know, others from that era.
So we're not
Yeah,
going
so I'm just looking at this
specifically-
a
not
list
gonna
of 27
specifically-
club.
yeah,
Brian
go ahead.
Jones from the Rolling Stones is in there too.
That's true,
Robert
yeah.
Johnson from Crossroad
Yeah.
Blues, and that one's kind of, I love that story because it was there's a little bit of an occult spin to it.
Oh,
Like
he sold
had
his soul
cut-
to the devil, man.
sold his soul to the devil at the crossroads.
Dude couldn't
you
play
actually
guitar
see
to
it in
save his
episode-
life. And yeah, and he came back and was the greatest guitar player of his time.
Yeah, and you know the deal was up, and they actually made an episode of Supernatural out of it in the first season, which was fucking amazing.
Nice.
Yeah, like it's
I mean,
it's
Anton,
a
there's
long and
actors too,
distinguished list.
like Anton Yelchin, who played Chekhov in the
Oh, that was
Star
a
Trek
freak.
movie.
That was a freak accident, though. That was not
Car
like he-
accident, yeah.
right. He
Well, I mean-
he got squashed by his own car
Yeah,
Yeah,
he,
that's crazy.
in his driveway. It's awful.
believe he was taking it to have that particular default or
Something
defect
fixed, yeah.
fixed. Like I think it was on a recall, and it just like, yeah, that's so. Even do you think with Kurt's passing and the small body of universally beloved music he put out, it leans into the fact that you can't walk 10 feet without seeing somebody wear a Nirvana shirt these days? I know my
They're
kids
still
have some.
popular now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
It's that's not the right word. It's fascinating to me how the name of the band is Nirvana, but yet he was like such a troubled individual.
Tortured. And, yeah.
So it was like, why did they name the band Nirvana? You know, what is Nirvana? You know, for those of you that don't know, Nirvana is like the state of ultimate balance and peace in the world, where you become one with the universe, basically. And so, but he was so far from that. It's just fascinating to me why he named, I don't know why they called it Nirvana, but it's just fascinating to me how there's like a massive juxtaposition of
It's interesting.
Seattle's
never thought
full
of
of
it that way.
hippies that do yoga, and it
yeah,
sounds
like,
cool.
you know, there's by naming the band Nirvana, you're basically telling the world that you want to elevate to this status, yet you can't get there because you're so troubled as an individual. So it's just fascinating to me. So
No, you got
Yeah.
a solid point with that one.
So-
So yeah, and I remember there was every year the radio, you know, sort of dives into this because I mean a lot of Nirvana songs are still played every day on rock radio. 3 years ago, I got really into it because we had been without him for longer than we had him. But I mean,
Yep.
reality wise, that only took 5 or 6 years because by and large the public didn't know, but he's been gone longer than he was here. I mean, he'd be 57 at this point.
Well, they were rumored to be breaking up before
Yeah.
the incident in April, but for a lot of people probably aren't aware that he about a month before he did the deed, so to speak, he was found overdosed in a hotel room, and
Yes.
so a lot of people, like Courtney Love especially, had said that that was his first attempt. Was about a month before,
Mhm.
and then
Yes.
so
Yeah.
they tried to get him help. He went into rehab within the month of March, and rumors were the band was splitting up. And then the first week of April, he was found by an electrician, I believe, who was coming to
Yeah.
install something. I can't remember what it was, but he was apparently there for 3 days before somebody found him. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's a fear of mine, other than death in general, but just sitting there and nobody notices for days. I had meant to grab Dave Grohl's book for that exact point and find the passage, because everybody thought it's like, cool, he's gone, he's done rehab, we're getting over this hump, this depression, this issue. Everybody thought he was on the upswing,
yeah.
because I mean it was quite clear to people that he was not well for a while, and we thought, okay, cool, we've kicked out, we've moved past this, he's getting help, he's getting clean, and then it was just nope, and just rocked everybody.
So you read Grohl's book, right? So I don't.
Yes.
I'm taking this from the Wikipedia page, and I don't know. I mean,
Truth.
Wikipedia, it could be true, it could not be, but apparently Duff McKagan was like the last person to kind of see him.
Mhm.
Like they were on a flight together, they sat side by side, and then Duff McKagan recalls how he was just different. Like he seemed happy about stuff, but it was also a little alarmed because it's not the same Kurt Cobain. So I think he was
Yeah,
in the process of going to the inevitable conclusion of what he wanted to do, and he was at peace with what he was going to do. So
and that's
yeah,
we've had incidents in my own house that still affect me to this day. It wasn't me, but having for a front row seat for that. So I believe it is mentioned in Dave's book that I did know that Duff had one of the last people to see him, and I did know that story. So
yeah,
it's disconcerting. You never truly move past it. It's always a ghost in the back of your mind going, you sure they're okay today? You sure? Because that happy upswing, like you said, people did look at it at the time of he's doing better, he's getting clean, he's in a good spot. But like you say, it's like, oh no, Thursday.
it
Yeah,
it could be
Thursday.
yeah, it could be a charade,
Good.
a charade that he's putting on to get people off of his back.
Right.
Also, right? I'm fine. I'm fine. Like read
And
between the
that's
lines. Are you really fine? So yeah,
and again, well, I mean, currently
there's a
still affects me. I still wonder. So
there is a neighbor that parks next to me in my underground, and she has a sticker on her car, which is so freaking relevant in life. And it's such a simple sticker. All it says is, did you check in on your homies? Check in with your people, guys. Like really check in. Just see, hey, how are you doing? Do you need to talk about anything? Because sometimes people just want an ear to be able to listen to, right? And so, yeah. Kurt Cobain is definitely, I think the importance of him as an artist and where Nirvana's music, and because of the movement of grunge and whatnot, I think that's kind of the most shocking thing that happened, is because he was the figurehead of an entire movement of music, basically.
And it basically died with him too, right? Grunge was
Yeah.
dead by 94. And then it sort of moved on to the post-grunge movement.
Then they kind of put it in with alternative music, basically. So what do you got there,
I'm
Matt?
gonna I just had Dave's book handed to me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna read
Sure.
the page here. It's got a picture of Kurt on it. It's the He's Gone chapter. Thank you, Sarah. So it starts, he's gone, Dave. My knees gave out and I dropped the phone as I fell to my bedroom floor, covering my face with my hands as I began to cry. He was gone. The shy young man who offered me an apple upon our first introduction at the Seattle airport was gone. My quiet, introverted roommate, who I had shared a tiny little apartment with in Olympia, was gone. The loving father who played with his beautiful baby daughter backstage every night before each show was gone. I was overcome with a more profound sadness than I had ever imagined. I couldn't speak, I couldn't think, I couldn't stand, I couldn't breathe. I could only picture his face, knowing that I would never see it again. I would never see his strange, flat fingers or his skinny elbows or his piercing blue eyes because he was gone forever. Moments later, the phone rang again. Still on the floor, I answered, barely able to speak through the tears and the hyperventilation. Hold on. He's not dead. He's still alive. I jumped up from the soft carpet with my heart racing wildly. Wait, are you sure? I asked frantically. Yes, he's still in the hospital, but he's going to make it, Dave. He's going to make it. And that was about his first attempt.
Jeez.
Cannot recommend Dave Grohl, the storyteller, any higher than I already do. Fantastic book. It is not a tough read or a tough slog. And it really gets into it. And Dave, I didn't realize at that point, Dave had gone through, he had lost a few people fairly close. And then when it gets into the Taylor Hawkins thing, it was Kurt all over again.
Mm-hmm.
Kurt all over again. And
yeah.
Anyway, so we've spent a bunch of time on this.
Well, just one thing real quick is
go.
People are wondering why we're talking about Kurt Cobain. It was his 30th anniversary of his passing on the 5th of April. That's why.
Yeah,
it's
yesterday.
It would have been yesterday, yes.
Yesterday.
So, one of the most important musicians in the history of music, I believe. So
yeah, no, I
whether
definitely
you like his music or not, he had a massive impact in the world of music and that genre. So yeah.
He drove the change. He was the catalyst there that really brought the whole wall down of glam rock and shifted everything, as we've talked about repeatedly.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's shift.
Let's shift a little bit. So we had a group chat with a bunch of topics in here. I don't know if I'm going to get to the other one I wanted to bring up, but Mike, I think you had one about microchips.
Oh yes, micro.
Tell us about that, buddy.
I will share this news clip. So everybody's favorite inventor,
crazy mad genius,
right? He's the crazy mad genius. Elon Musk has developed a chip that can go into your head, into your brain, like deep wherever they put it. And you can operate a computer with your mind.
Yeah, I saw a little bit about that.
I don't even know where to begin. Like it's the science fiction we all grew up watching, but this could be a wonderful thing. Like this gentleman who got on, he's a quadriplegic, and he had it willingly put into his brain, and now he can communicate better. He played online chess with his mind. I don't know. To me, that's really cool. And
I mean, used for good, this could be phenomenal. Yes. I mean, do we trust humanity to use everything for good? Probably not.
No.
But yeah, this is fascinating.
Right. It's kind of that term, like it. I want to say it's like a James Cameron film. Like it's
what's funny about this exact. You know what's funny about this exact thing? There's a line in Terminator, which was out in 1884, where Reese goes, "Well, I had to see if he made a move on you. I couldn't tell if it was him or not." And then Sarah Connor goes, "I'm not stupid. They can't make these things like that." And he said, "Not for another 40 years." And 2024 is 40 years later.
Oh my God.
Skynet is a thing, boys.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's been one of my things for a while as we've sort of lead towards the internet and AI. It's like, do you want Skynet? Because this is how you get Skynet.
Yeah. But it says here
brain chip.
It was able to restore sight in monkeys that were blind. Like you say, if this is used for truly good things and not some crazy guy gets a hold of it and turns humans into like psycho killers, but like not human terminators in a way, right? This could be like the gateway to curing all sorts of stuff. I think, I don't know, as much crap as Elon gets for being Elon, he's got some really radical ideas, and this is
Yeah.
one of them that actually came true, right?
I mean, there's all sorts of science fiction of I was paralyzed and they put a chip in my spine and I'm fine. I
Yep.
mean, like, we look at, like, let's take our beloved Star Wars.
Sure.
Luke loses a hand,
Yeah.
and yet from there out, he's got the robot hand and all that sort of stuff. A lot of people's like, oh, he's just using the Force to do it. Well, explain every other cyborg out there then that's in the
Yep.
Star Wars universe. So I mean,
Right.
it's probably a chip in his brain somewhere too, right?
You would think.
This could do a lot of good. I'm super curious to see. I also cannot wait to see some of the batshit conspiracy theories that come out over this.
Yeah.
There's going to
But
be a few.
I mean,
Well,
well,
I mean-
this is where the 5G comes from, boys. It's in your head now.
Right. The nanobots from the COVID shot. Here, it's all coming to fruition.
Oh God.
Let's not get down that rabbit hole.
That's why I keep getting COVID shots, because I want more nanobots in my head.
Well, I mean, how's the reception?
Oh my God, dude! Like, it's the voices come through like so clear. It's like
Sometimes he glitches and his head twitches to the side, but
it
that's
does.
fine.
So if you see me twitch, don't worry about it. It's just it's a normal
It's like
thing.
that scene out of Total Recall in the security lineup.
Yes, exactly. But it even says here, the Neuralink, the company, they designed robots because humans can't implant this chip because we're not steady enough, we're not dexterous enough to do it. But then it says here, which they fully hope to automate in the future. I don't know. It just seems we're going rabbit hole.
Yeah, we're
The one line
yeah.
that really kind of speaks out to me is shifting the spine area to like send the signal around. The
Yeah, to
damaged
go
portion
around
of
the injury.
spine,
Yeah.
so that people that are paralyzed can learn how to walk again. So
Mhm.
that's something fascinating.
Yep.
Yep.
James
I mean,
Hetfield's parents would be against this in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I mean, it's no different than just rewiring something so that
Yeah.
okay, well, we broke this piece, but I can run this wire around it and we're good. I mean,
Well-
obviously it's a lot more complex, but the basic thought of, oh, you broke that bit, just go around it, work around
And
it.
that was probably the original idea. It's like, well, okay, you just rewired that, whatever. Well, why can't we do that to the brain or the
Yeah.
spine? Right.
The brain is infinitely more complicated than a circuit
Well, of
board
course
as
it is.
well, but yeah.
Well, we'll never understand, even
Yeah.
well, not in our lifetimes for sure, but it won't be understood for.
Well, is that true, or are we headed towards some sort of Futurama episode where we'll be doing this podcast in 200 years? We're just heads in a jar.
I was just going to ask you that question. If you
I
you guys
think
ever
we're
seen
lower.
the show Upload?
Yes, that was the other one I
Right?
wanted to bring in.
So so the concept of upload is you die, but your consciousness gets uploaded onto a server that you pay for in perpetuity
Mhm.
to still live. Would you guys, whenever your time comes, when you're 85,
Mhm.
100, whatever. Okay, there's this technology. You can beam your consciousness into this
Mhm.
USB stick, and you could live out your life here with other people. Would you do it?
Absolutely.
Yes.
I since I was a kid, I'm not that guy that is afraid of public speaking. It's the other thing. It's the other number one that just I can't handle the concept in my head. I've laid
I think
awake.
Matt and I
dealing with it,
share.
so yeah.
I think Matt and I share in this terror and fear of existential dread. Basically,
Mhm.
I cannot handle not being here. Like I cannot comprehend
The
that.
idea of it. Yeah.
The idea of it, right? I always
and
want to
that's-
exist, so that's a very scary
Now-
thing for me.
That being said, does this lean into your I'll say belief, but maybe hope, glimmer of hope with all the paranormal stuff that's out there on, the quantum planes and, the afterlife? I wish I had my mom's faith in religion.
Yeah.
She had a couple of things when she was younger that, really instilled that in her. She was very sick as a child. I wish I had that faith, but there's that part of me, that logic part of me that goes, yeah, but when the switch is off, the switch is off.
Right.
So
Yeah, that's a tough one for me to
it's-
swallow.
yeah, I agree.
know?
That's what gets me.
I want to believe that we're eternal and there's other stuff out there. It's just there's always doubt, right? So
Mhm.
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I mean, I want to believe that I'm Melody from Ghostbusters. The Frozen one that just came out, saw that last weekend. So good. Highly recommend it. Watch the 2 new Ghostbusters, boys. I know you haven't seen either of them, either of you, but yeah, it's
Oh, I gotta
super
get on
good. You know, I want to believe there's something. It's just there's that part of me that follows logic of
Yeah.
no, motherfucker, the switch is off. You're off.
So, do you think, Mike, because you brought this up, do you think that the more we go into the exploration of screwing with nature in terms of like neurochips and brain chips,
Mhm.
the less magical life actually becomes, and the more we're just facts
We're just
that
in the Matrix.
exist?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Mhm.
there's that theory. There's a
Right,
theory
there
that
is
we're
that
actually
theory
in the
too.
Matrix.
Well, it takes a lot of the like you said, it takes a lot of the magic out of natural things,
Yeah.
Mhm.
you know, and I don't know. Like I don't know what I believe. I don't know. Like I'm like you guys. I want to think there's something else on the other side, but I don't know. Like you won't know till you're there. That's
Yeah.
that's the thing. And I don't want to
Yeah.
know for a long time. I want to,
Yeah.
you know, I want to live for a long time. So I
Yeah.
don't.
Well, you got another 40 to 50 years, Mike. Maybe even
Well,
60.
but let's take a look at this. Like with the advancements in these chips, is it only 40 or 50 years?
You
Could I
don't
live
know.
till
Yeah.
150? That'd be cool.
With medical science, granted, there's still some gnarly stuff, and there's accidents out there, and there's diseases, and
Sure.
but I mean, we just lost the world's oldest man who lived to 115. He just passed away this week.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd want to live that long because
I-
I'm sore enough as it is now with all my self-inflicted shit. I imagine another, another 70 years. I don't know how I'd be feeling getting out of bed in the morning. He'd be like the dude from Up, like on times 10.
Yeah.
So do you guys think that religion is a byproduct of
Oh, geez.
people? No, I mean it's a
Okay.
byproduct of people not willing to accept that, or wanting there to be a purpose for us, right? It's just like it's an easy way for people to be okay with existing and knowing that they're going to go somewhere afterwards, right? So I don't know. This is a big topic, actually.
Yeah, this is a
sorry.
slippery slope. This will probably be the one episode my mom actually listens to, and I'll end up with a phone call.
100%.
I can see why the existential dread could lead to that, but then
Yeah.
there's some weird shit that goes on. Like if you pay attention to enough paranormal stuff, you will see, patterns do emerge. And I don't know if either of you two have had a bit of a paranormal experience. I have. Maybe it's just
swear to
a
God, I've seen
combination
a
of
ghost
that.
in my life. I swear to God, I saw a ghost when I was like 16 or 17.
Mhm.
I have no explanation of what happened. It's just an image shifted by, and I was just like, and it drew attention to me. Like it turned and it kind of bowed to acknowledge my existence and that I saw it, and then it shimmered past the window. And I was just like, what did I just see?
Right. Yeah, I
You
mean,
know?
I've had that. My oldest daughter was having some I'm going to say some issues. It's more her story to tell, but she actually did tell this on a podcast. On Jericho Cruise 2, she was at the Supernatural Dave Schrader's podcast and is actually in a recording telling this story. But what had happened was it was freaking her out and she wasn't sleeping and there was some stuff going on, and my mom gave her a cross and she put it over her bed. Everything stopped.
Yeah, that's fascinating.
So
Yeah,
I think there's combinations to a bunch of it that
Sure.
led to religion. Go ahead, Mike. Sorry, I cut you off there.
No, it's fine. Like we in our house, there was in Jolene's room, there was something in her room, right? And apparently my wife had the same thing when she was the same age, like with this entity, whatever. And then she burns some cinnamon and it's gone.
Interesting,
right?
Yeah.
But like the story that Jolene would tell us would be the same story that Sherry told her parents and has told me. Like, and she never knew. Like, there was never like, oh, I remember when I was 12, I had, none of that. There was no correlation between the two, and it was the same entity. And different houses too.
I didn't know the incident I had when I was a kid. I told, just sitting around, we were talking about an old house we had lived in. My parents were there. My mom went, "You saw it too?" I used to wake up and see that at the foot of the bed. I used to thought it was you or your brother coming in to wake us up in the middle of the night.
Wow.
But no.
Nope.
So I mean, it's like, oh yeah. So we both kind of saw the same thing in different scenarios. Weird, creepy.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a photo. So back in the early 2000s, Polaroids were becoming a bit of a novelty again. Just these little tiny, like 4x2 Polaroid
Yep.
cameras. We're selling them in the store, and we're goofing around with one, testing it out. And one of my coworkers snapped a photo of me leaning against the till. And when the photo came out, you could see there was this wispy, smoky cloud surrounding me. And there was definitely two faces in it.
Whoa.
And we're looking around. It's like there was nothing. The store, there was no dust. There was nothing smoking. Like it almost looked like you see in the Mission Impossible when the computer self-destructs and it's just that puff of smoke.
Really?
But there was nothing going on there. And it was right before I got on an airplane. So I was like, cool, I'm going to die. This is Final Destination. Fuck my life.
Dude, there was a meme that I saw. Somebody like snapped it from a car, and there was like a lineup of cars waiting behind a giant logging truck, but they were like 100 feet behind it, and there's like
Yeah.
4 different cars, and it goes, tell me you've seen Final Destination without telling me you've
Yeah.
seen Final Destination.
Generational trauma. I mean,
Right.
we have to do these stupid corporate safety sheets once a year at work. And it's like, where do you find safety at work, safety when you travel, safety at home, my safety at home line. And it's always like I fuck with it. Like I don't take these things seriously. People are going to be looking at these for a year. They can get a chuckle off reading mine. This year, mine was never drive behind a logging truck.
No, you don't.
Never drive behind a logging truck.
No,
that
you
was
try not to.
Was that the second one or the third one? I can't remember which
I think-
movie it was, but it
I think it was the
definitely
second one.
made me pay attention to things that could fall off the back of a truck a little bit more. You know, not just
Yeah,
logging
I mean,
trucks in
I-
general, but just stuff.
Dude, we load flatbed trucks at work all the time, and especially with the stuff I'm putting on it, you don't want that falling off.
Hey, how
Um,
fast do you guys drive over a bridge today?
I haven't
Right.
driven other
You
than
hit
the
a bridge, you're
little
like,
one.
gotta get off this bridge.
Oh, it's funny because like obviously I grew up down where you guys were, but
Yeah.
when we were down there a few weeks ago, we went over the Alex Fraser, and I had this anxiety. I'm like, get me over this damn bridge as fast as I can possibly get, and I hate it.
Well,
Of course, I didn't
mean,
let anybody know that because
Yeah.
kids are they don't like bridges either. But
That's
I'm just
actually
like,
a very real fear, and I know a few people that have a fear of bridges and driving over.
and then of course, then the
Yeah.
Baltimore thing happens like
That's exactly
a week later.
what I
Like,
was just
oh
gonna
my
say.
god, it's just like your
Yeah.
biggest fear. That's a long way.
Yeah,
down.
I mean,
Yeah.
and I drove over the Golden Ears Bridge last weekend, but the thing there is once you get past the Port Mann, really, there's nothing going on. It's the Alex Fraser, the Port Mann, the Second Narrows, the
The worst bridge ever. The
the
second
Lions
Bridge,
Gate
yeah.
is the
Patel's also pretty big.
I got a hot tip from a family member that was working for the government. Stay the fuck off the Patello Bridge about 10
Dude,
years ago.
For,
yeah.
for people that don't live in the Lower Mainland, the Patello Bridge is like, I don't know who designed that bridge, but it literally has the smallest lanes known to man.
Yes.
Like when you're
Yes.
driving over that bridge, you are inches away from the car next to you. It's just like, what are you thinking?
Well,
with
because
this bridge?
originally it was single lane each way, I think.
Yes.
And they're
and
like,
then
yeah,
they-
we have enough room
Yeah,
for 2 lanes.
yeah. Well,
No, you
that's-
don't.
No, you really don't.
Well, I mean, when I was in my technician life, I had to get across the river somehow. And the shit thing is the Alex Fraser is a freaking nightmare, especially when they were changing all the interchanges over there. And the
Ridiculous.
tunnel's too far out, and the Port Mann is going the wrong direction. And sometimes you just have to use that. And sometimes it's just traffic. It's like, well, I could go over to the tunnel, but it's going to save me 15 minutes going to the airport if I go through New West. It is awful. And those fucking truck drivers, they ride that center line like it's a monorail.
Yep.
And it would make my ex-boss batshit crazy.
I mean,
He
it's
would
better now.
flip out. He just cursing these guys out as we go across it. He went around one dude once on the Patello. He just got mad, gunned it around him, and I'm sitting shotgun, and the mirror slammed shut against the thing because he got too close to the truck, and it clipped him, and I could have fucking murdered him right there. Except I don't want the car to lose any more control at the time.
Yeah, right.
Like, it's being replaced, so that's good.
Yes.
That's in the works. But yeah, it's a gnarly
Alex
little bridge.
Fraser is
and
better now with the shifting divider that they put in there.
when it works. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Have you guys ever ridden your bike over that bridge and being on the outside, like the pedestrian lane? Like,
Dude,
ever been on like?
No,
you
The Alex
you can
Fraser?
go-
No.
Oh my god!
but I will tell you what right now, when you ride a bike or walk over a bridge, because I used to walk over the Burrard Street Bridge when I lived in Kitsilano to go to work
Mhm.
sometimes, and then cab home.
I
It
think
is a lot further.
We used to
than you-
walk over the Burrard Street
Yeah.
Bridge to maybe pee off the balconies, but
Dude,
well,
bridges are a lot longer than you think it.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
Until you like walk or ride a bike over it, you're like, how far is this bridge?
Yeah. And then you look down, you
It's-
realize the thing you're
you're-
sitting on
yeah.
is just like tied by a brace hanging over the
Yeah.
side.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I need to turn around and go home. This is dumb.
yeah, and then you have you've looked down, so you're like,
Yep.
oh, this is
Yeah.
you don't get this perspective when you're down.
And then you're going down the hill like Mach 5, and I'm like, man, if I clip my handlebar, I'm going over the edge, and it's just
Yeah.
woohoo. And I'm
Yeah.
like,
You will never see me walking. Or
my
riding a bike
imagination
over a
is way
bridge.
too active to ride my bike over large
It
bridges. I'll
is.
never do it again. Ever.
Yeah, that,
Ever.
intrusive thoughts. Fuck.
Right? Go away, please.
Yeah, and then you think that, I mean, let's take the Lions Gate. That is the major port of entry into the Vancouver harbors for, anything going to the North Shore or coming up the river into, Delta Port or Surrey Port. Cruise ships go comfortably underneath there.
Yeah, that's how high up. It is.
I-
Right? That's
I've
perspective,
been on a
right?
couple of big friggin' cruise ships. That is a high bridge, and the Alex Fraser's designed for those same size ships to go underneath it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean, the Patello is a lot smaller because that's kind of the dividing line as to where most of the port stops in Delta and Surrey. You get smaller ships going up to the mills, so you get like barges and smaller lumber ships. But that's a big bridge. I
Was this-
worked when I was at work when they opened the Golden Ears Bridge, but my mom took my kids when they were little and they walked across it, and I was like, yeah, even if I was off, I don't think I'd do that.
And nobody used that bridge when it was like a pay to go across it.
No.
Oh yeah,
Like it was the
Yeah.
fastest way to get anywhere, but you had to pay because they paid a toll. And then as soon as they got rid of the toll, everyone starts using it.
yeah. Well, I mean, it was expensive. The thing was, you didn't have a choice for
Yeah.
a long time because they also ended up putting the Port Mann in with a toll, so you couldn't go across the old
Not
Port Mann
initially.
anymore.
Not initially. They did that because they realized they were never going to pay off the bridge because everyone was just going Port Man anyways. So they're like, fine, we'll just toll
well, no,
both of
the
them.
Port Mann got a toll when it got replaced.
Yeah, but I
For a
mean,
little while, yeah.
They kept both of them there until both the because they did a Highway 1 renovation on the Port Man, and then they had the Golden Ears Bridge built, but they kept the toll on both of them until they
Yeah.
recouped the money from both projects.
Well, actually, I don't think
No.
they ever did. It was
No, they didn't.
our
No?
current government came in on the platform of we're going to get rid of the tolls, and everybody went, "Yay!"
Yeah, because that's for the
And-
same time they got rid of the Coquihalla toll as well. And that
Yeah.
had been there for like 25, 30
Oh,
years. at that
decades.
point.
It was
it's saved me $2,000 a year, so I'm okay with it.
right.
So
I
we were
mean,
talking
it's-
about the size of this bridge. It opened in 1937. So, life was a little bit different,
The
Mhm.
Patella?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The construction apparently started in 1936. It took a year to build that bridge. That seems scary,
In
Just.
yeah.
right? How many people did they have working on that bloody bridge?
Well, I mean,
just-
it's
Did you guys ever
relatively simple compared to
it's not complicated like the bridges nowadays.
relatively. I'm not.
Right.
I don't want to undermine this. It's not a wooden covered bridge. It's cast iron, and actually it's
if there's one bridge I would never choose to drive over, it would be the Patella Bridge. Like that thing just scares the bejesus out of me every time I go over that thing.
Yeah.
And it's not even the bridge. It's just again, it's the narrowness of the lanes. It's just
Mhm.
so like cringy when you're like, oh my god, I'm gonna get hit by something. But
I'm just gonna
do people actually even use that bridge anymore?
Yes.
I
Patello? Yeah.
guess.
It's super busy. Super busy. It is the most convenient way to get to New West.
I guess you're
Really.
right. From
It's
Delta
a
to New
it's
West,
a
yeah.
I mean, if getting to the Port Man from lots of places in Surrey is a giant pain in the ass, and the Alex Fraser is always a pain in the ass. So there's our Patello Bridge, our beloved Patello Bridge. If anybody that is listening to this and not picking up, it's spelt Patullo,
Yep.
or just bridges in Vancouver, and you'll find it. But
You do have a
yeah,
lot of bridges.
I was warned by a family member that worked for the government to stay the fuck off that bridge. So they've known
And
for
he
quite a
has-
while that
yeah.
it is dodgy.
Yeah.
So a little over an hour. I think
Yep.
I enjoyed this new little multi discussion format, boys. How I think we should stick with this for a while.
Yes.
We'll get back to doing some deep dives eventually
Sure.
on some long form stuff, because we do have some stuff in the hopper where, you know, we do want to continue with the Fincher analyses and some other stuff. But I had fun.
Do you guys
Yeah,
want to
well-
watch a trailer of something?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I do. What do you got for us?
Star Wars.
Actually,
of
don't
course.
tell me.
Oh, okay.
I wonder if it's the
Oops.
oh yeah.
Imperial favor.
Watch the show.
Years ago, my people were all but destroyed. My anger gives me strength. It is that strength I offer that empire.
Offer accepted.
I'm
Excellent release date.
opportunity.
Yes. And nice to see, Barris and Morgan Elsbeth. And, yeah,
Mhm.
it's gonna be awesome.
Your path is set, Morgan Elspeth. I will fulfill my destiny.
Mercy only breeds defeat. But I will help you overcome this weakness. Attack!
You said the Empire would help to change things.
Everything comes at a cost. My world has been burning since I was a child.
Nice to see Grievous back.
Yeah.
Yep.
That guy coughed out.
Now you must face one final test. To join us. It is time you meet your new master.
So much lore going on in this. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Long live the Empire.
It's too bad they're only shorts, because this would make a really good movie.
That actually, it makes a lot more sense now that I see that it's shorts.
Yeah.
Because they're kind of all over the timeline map
Yes,
there. I'm
they
curious
are.
to see what they're talking about. Grievous. I'm down for this.
Really interesting.
I'm
Sorry.
liking the shorts that they got out in Star Wars Visions. Yeah. I'm here for it.
Like, we've all talked Star Wars, and we all like different degrees of Star Wars.
We'll get
For
into
me,
it
the
in a month.
animated side of Star Wars is the only good Star Wars that's left. Like, they're free to tell these amazing side stories
Mhm.
There's
that
less investment in them. That's why they
Right,
can go a
and-
little bit more risque in what their topic they want to be.
because we're watching the Bad Batch right now, because the Bad Batch has to tie in Episode 9 and how Palpatine mysteriously turned into purple smoke and then he came back to life. They have to tie. They got to figure out how. Okay, well, whatever. So the unfortunate part for me is the Bad Batch has to tie that in, but they're doing it really well. Like
Good.
they're making it seem like, okay, this is
Yeah, I can't
It's
ever
plausible,
believe,
right?
I can't ever believe that the plan was for him to come back at the end of
No.
Return of the Jedi. I think they killed him off, and they're like, well, Let's have him come back somehow. We'll
Well, I
figure it
think,
out.
and that was the Disney part of the Disneyfication, right? Well, we need more nostalgia. We need to bring.
No, it
Ooh,
wasn't.
let's bring back Mr. Old Palpy. He'll take care of business. I know
Nope.
him and his cloning and stuff like that. It was sort of like in Legends, he was all about. He wanted to transfer his essence and live forever, right?
Yeah, that's
So,
been
hold
part
on
of
a
canon
second.
since the early '90s in the Dark Horse comics.
And
Hold on a
They
Plagueis,
second.
did a
though.
shit job adapting the story.
yes,
But that's
because
that
Plagueis
is-
had figured. Sorry, go.
go.
I've been told that when they did the 3 new movies, or I've done some research on it,
Oh,
that
geez.
there wasn't like there's a head writer, like J.J. Abrams, like the head creative thing, but he didn't have a story and go, okay, let's go. He had a team of writers, and they went into a room and they brainstormed with a group of people what these 3 movies should be about. Is that correct, or am I?
It makes a lot of sense because I think there's too many cooks in that kitchen.
I was just gonna say,
Literally, they
yeah.
had all these ideas that they threw on a board, and they like, when we used to do those like
storyboards.
yeah, no, not even storyboards, where you do like the bubble thing.
Oh,
where
yeah,
you
yeah,
write a
the-
topic
yeah.
and bubble it, and then
Yeah.
you branch out, and
Yeah.
so it seemed to be pieced together from like a whole bunch of people's ideas, and it goes, what idea works? Can we do this one? And then they debate about it and go, okay. So it was like a collective story that a group of people wrote
Yeah.
together, and it wasn't one person's vision or anything like
Yeah,
that.
and then
So-
they said, "Hey, we got 1,000 bubbles on this whiteboard. Let's just put them all into one movie." I think that's a good idea.
yeah, the bubble
Um,
thing, think map. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
Can we just call it the bubble thing from the rest of the time?
sure.
Um,
Yeah, anyways,
yeah, I there's a lot of meat on the Star Wars bone still, and I think we have an excuse to start talking about that in about a month.
yes,
Yeah, it seems to be correct.
and that's when
so-
the Tales of the Empire comes out. I
Yeah.
believe is May 4th. So
So that'll be an interesting show. I'll definitely be checking that out.
Yeah.
Um,
and they're short, so they're short. They're 5-minute episodes, I believe. They're not
Yeah.
that long, 5 to 10 minutes, and that's it.
I mean, Disney's done some really good stuff with their shorts. I don't know if you've seen the I Am Groot shorts. Those are pretty funny. So
Yep.
I'm looking forward to it. Star
Sure.
Wars Vision was a bunch of shorts.
Mhm.
Uh,
Tales of the
Oh.
Jedi was a bunch of shorts. It's really good too. There's
Yeah.
a couple of really good ones in there. There's a
Yeah,
I think
you
there's a
don't-
Dooku one.
you
It's
don't always
awesome.
need a trilogy of 2.5-hour movies
No.
to tell the story,
No,
right? It's just
Yeah, my trilogies need to be 4 hours plus each, or I'm not watching it. Lord of the Rings. No, just kidding.
actually, we just watched Fellowship the other day. We're watching the rest of Two Towers today. So
what was
Good for
the
you.
thing
It's
I
on-
saw the other day?
time
It's
to
like,
revisit.
ooh,
It's
Lord
the
of the Rings
perfect
is
trilogy.
on Lord of the Rings is on Netflix. They're the theatrical editions. So, It's just-
right?
There was a meme I saw this morning, or maybe it was yesterday, and it was Netflix sending a message saying, "Are you okay?" And the person has watched Lord of the Rings over 300 times in 1 year.
Oh my!
And then there's an image of Aragorn saying, "You bow to no one."
What? It's too many times in a year.
I don't know. Maybe they just had it on all the time. and
Right,
they were
you just
doing
have it on
background work.
repeat all day long.
You can't imagine that they would just watch it, right? So
yeah, because
that's
even Netflix is like, are you still watching that? Did you
Yeah.
fall asleep?
Are you dead?
You know.
And nobody knows.
yeah.
Oh,
so-
well, you know what? That's speaking of circling back. Good Lord. In 3
You like
days.
that, eh? That's pretty good.
Also, actually, real quick before we end this, because we talked a lot about existential stuff and the cosmos and life out there. If anyone hasn't seen the movie Lucy, it has some very interesting things in it. Like, I really, really enjoyed that movie, knowing where I am at with things and questions about life and the cosmos with myself. It's fascinating, that movie, to me. I know it's a far-fetched theory, and but I mean, it also talks about reaching that ultimate state of nirvana where you become part of the universe, so to speak. So yeah, if you haven't seen Lucy, watch it. It's good. It's got Scarlett Johansson and Morgan Freeman doing Morgan Freeman things. So
That's all we want out of them.
yeah,
At this
dude,
point,
if
that's
he
all
could
we
read
need.
me bedtime stories, I would be okay with that.
What, if Scarlett's reading you bedtime stories?
No, Morgan Freeman.
Yeah.
That guy's, well, I mean, also Scarlett. Colin Jost, you lucky son of a. Anyways,
Yeah, I still, you know what? Good for him.
Absolutely.
good for
Good,
him.
good. See, it just proves that funny
Comedy
will
wins.
get you places.
Exactly.
Funny will get
I
you
was just gonna say
places.
that. Comedy works. If you're funny, you'll go far in life.
All right, let's we're a little over time from what we had wanted to do. Shocking.
Yep.
And yeah, I got something to do today, boys. It's WrestleMania season.
Do
I'm
not
already
fucking
yeah, right.
spoil anything because I won't get to it till Monday.
What
I
time does
swear to God.
apparently I'm watching it too. What time does it start?
4.
4.
Four.
Okay, I
Depends
got
if
lots
you
of
want
time.
to watch the
NXT
pre-show
is on
stuff or
right
not.
now.
I'm not
I've
watching
missed
pre-show.
I missed the first 20 minutes of Stand and Deliver. I have
right,
a
we'll get you
lot
going.
of friends that are in Philadelphia this weekend, and I'm seeing all sorts of cool shit. So I'm gonna go and get all this uploaded to your favorite download platforms, Spotify and Apple, and start watching wrestling for the next 48 hours.
As they say, wrestling is cool again.
Yes.
The again thing confuses me, but whatever.
Or
for-
is wrestling's cool with a question mark? What? Sorry.
Better than it has been in the last 5-10 years, that's for sure.
You know what? Tune in to Cheap Seat Booking. I will be doing a WrestleMania wrap up next week. I have 2 guests that are actively ticket holders for the show and will be at
Nice.
both nights
That'll be
coming.
good.
I'm looking for a third. I haven't decided if I'm going with
I'll join you.
one of my other people that are out there or if. Yeah,
I'd
that was
like to see Mike
what I was
join you.
gonna say.
I'm the third.
If I'm gonna grab Mike.
Sure. I'm in.
So we'll.
You'll
we'll sort
never
that
see
out.
Mike enter a situation and leave a situation faster than that one.
Well, I'll just watch the YouTube clip of the sort of wrap up of the whole thing, and then I'll come on and I'll.
Well, you
I'll-
are actually watching WrestleMania, right? With
apparently
with your
that's
son,
that's
so-
the rumor around town. Apparently, I'm watching it. I
Good
don't
for
know.
you.
You know what? You can go back and listen to the show, but there's some good bell to bell content coming our way.
No, it's
really
good.
looking
I'm,
forward to,
I'm slagging it, but I'm kind of looking forward to watching it because I don't know. I enjoyed like I watched day 1 last year, and I really like it was good. Like it's the matches were well done. Like it was there's an intensity to it that I hadn't seen in a long time. And then day 2 was really not good for me personally, but day 1 was awesome. Like the people they had were just really good at what they did, and they showcased their great talents doing that, and that makes for a good show.
Yeah, the bell to bell is what I call it. Is what you're talking about. I'm really looking forward to Jimmy and Jay Uso's one-on-one match. AJ Styles and LA Knight should have an absolute barn burner. This is going to make or break LA Knight, I think. And Rhea Ripley and Becky Lynch should have just an absolute fucking great
Yeah, there's
match.
some
And then there's
potential for some
the
classics on there.
pageantry of the Cody Rhodes bloodline, Seth Rollins, Rock, the whole situation.
There's
don't
so
see
many
great-
there's so many fan theories about what's actually going to happen between the 4 of them in that dynamic. It's crazy because there's like this person will turn on this person, but then this person will turn back on this. It's wild.
Stone Cold's
So-
coming out, Undertaker's coming out, Cena's coming out, yada yada yada. That's a pageantry match.
I can't see him. So.
That's yeah, right. That's all pageantry. For me it's bell to bell. So I think those 3 matches I mentioned are gonna give us a fantastic fucking show. So those are my recommendation, Mike. If you only watch 3, LA Knight, Usos, Rhea Ripley.
Okay.
All right.
Cody
Thank you
Rhodes.
for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for sticking with us. We are overtime as always. Join us next week when we talk about more stuff. And-
Before you go, episode 5, mandatory music's coming out tomorrow. We're talking another iconic song, and Seb swore a bunch of times, so I haven't had time to edit it out, but
I
have
got
to
a
go
little
listen to the whole
excited.
thing and edit
Okay,
it out.
I got a little excited, so I need to work on that.
A couple of bombs were dropped, and it's like, and of course, I'm not smart enough to mark the time of when the bombs drop, so I could just go whoop, and then
Also, there's a timestamp for me falling out of my chair because I
Priceless.
broke the armrest off my chair and I almost fell to the ground. Yeah,
it was
you
pretty
can.
Oh.
Mike missed it.
I was talking.
Right?
I wasn't even looking at this. I wasn't even looking at my camera. I was second screening, and I'm like, and then he's like, "Did you?" After done, he's like, "Did you see that?" I'm like, "See what?"
Dude,
My
I
hands?
literally
Nothing.
went to adjust myself on the seat and I put my arm on the left thing and it snapped and all you see is this.
So yeah, I'll get that up tomorrow.
Cannot wait.
And Seb doesn't even know what we're talking about on Tuesday yet, but we're going to talk about Sabbath True. I'm pulling an audible.
Okay, all right, let's do it.
Let's do
Okay.
it. Tell you live.
Okay, so you're talking
go
like,
for it.
do we get to know what episode 5 is?
Sure, Master of Puppets.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a good
Yeah.
episode.
And Seb blew my mind. So I, as a guy who is, well, obviously I love.
At least it was just your mind.
Maybe it was,
Okay,
maybe
stop
not. Maybe it's whatever. Hey, don't judge.
I'm not.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, no, Master of Puppets will be out tomorrow, and then we'll be talking Sad But True out next Sunday.
Badass. Check those out.
Jeez.
Thank you for joining us. And enjoy your WrestleMania weekend, folks.
Yeah, you
'cause
too.
I sure as shit am.
I know you will.
Bye.
Good afternoon.
Bye-bye.